On the afternoon of July 19th, Hanoi, Quang Ninh, Lao Cai, Nguyen recorded thunderstorms and strong winds that broke many trees and electric poles, causing local power outages. Notably, in Quang Ninh, a storm capsized a tourist boat in Halong Bay. The storm and heavy rain occurred on the day Typhoon Wipha entered the East Sea, becoming the third storm, leading many to believe that this was due to the early effects of the storm. Sharing with Nguyen on the evening of July 19th, Mr. Mai Van Kim, director of the National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting, said that storm number 3, Storm Wipha, is still very far away, so it cannot impact or affect Vietnam's sea and mainland. Mai Van Kim affirmed that the thunderstorms in Hanoi, Quang Ninh and many northern provinces that occurred on the afternoon of July 19th were due to the influence of a low-pressure trough passing through the north, not due to the influence of storm number 3, Storm Wipha. According to the National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting, American studies on thunderstorms and lightning in storms show that only a very small number of lightning bolts can be observed in the inner core of storms and tropical depressions. The decisive factor in the development of thunderstorms is the interaction between ice crystals in liquid water. Therefore, thunder, lightning, or storm clusters often appear outside the storm center, over 100 kilometers, due to the combination with strong convective rain bands. The National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting recommends that during storm and tropical depression warnings, people should pay attention to the appearance of thunderstorms and lightning to prevent and reduce unexpected risks. According to the National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting, a tornado is a phenomenon of extremely strong whirlwinds, occurring in a small range, tens to hundreds of meters and lasting for a short time. The cause of tornadoes is hot air currents rising strongly. In recent days, the heat in Hanoi and the northern provinces has caused the ground to heat unevenly. A certain area that absorbs heat more easily will become hotter, creating a low-pressure area and creating an updraft. The colder air around it flows in, creating a whirlwind phenomenon, similar to that in a storm. The characteristic of a tornado is that the wind speed suddenly increases sharply in a clear period of time. Tornadoes also often appear in storm clouds. When convection develops strongly, the vertical temperature difference is large, causing the pressure to change suddenly, creating large whirlwind columns capable of lifting several train cars, houses, or ships and boats weighing several dozen tons at once. Accompanied by tornadoes are often thunderstorms and hail. The National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting said that at 4 p.m. on July 19th, the center of storm number 3, Storm Wipha, was at about 20.7 degrees north latitude and 118.4 degrees east longitude, in the northeastern sea area of the northern East Sea. Near the storm center, the strongest wind is at level 10, equivalent to 89 to 102 kilometers per hour, gusting to level 12. The storm is moving west-northwest at a speed of about 20 kilometers per hour. Forecast from July 21st, the northern sea of Back Bow Gulf will have winds gradually increasing to level 6, level 7, then increasing to level 8, level 9. The area near the storm center will have winds of level 10, level 11, gusting to level 13. Waves are 2 to 4 m high, near the center 3 to 5 m. The sea is very rough. Accordingly, ships operating in the above-mentioned dangerous areas are likely to be affected by storms, whirlwinds, strong winds, and large waves from storm number 3, Storm Wipha. Meanwhile, many areas such as Halong, Hatu, Halam, Bac Dang, Chao Zan, Bai Che wards, etc. in the old Halong city experienced hail, damaging many windows and cars parked on the street. Heavy rain and strong winds forced vehicles, especially motorbikes, to stop when passing Bai Che Bridge. In addition, before the rain, thunderstorms and lightning caused a fire on a rock island in Halong Bay. According to VTC news reporters, at around 1:30 p.m. on July 19th, heavy rain accompanied by hail, strong winds, and lightning appeared in many areas in Quang Ninh. Images and videos circulating on social networks, hail appeared after large thunderstorms, with hailstones the size of chopsticks falling heavily, forcing passers-by to stop and take shelter. Local residents said he was in his house when he heard continuous thunder, followed by heavy rain and strong winds. Many flower pots in the yard were knocked over, and the porch roof shook violently because of the wind, he said. In Chau Tang Ward, Ms. H recorded a hailstorm that lasted about 10 to 12 minutes. At first it was just heavy rain, but a few minutes later, hailstones were falling heavily on the yard and the corrugated iron roof, and the strong wind made everyone close their doors, she said. Mr. Nguyen Hung, owner of a restaurant in Bai Che, said that learning from the previous storm, his restaurant is now preparing water bags to be ready to reinforce the roof before storm number 3 Wipha makes landfall. According to local residents, in some areas such as Bai Che and Hakan wards, the storms were stronger, causing the roofs of many houses to be blown off and corrugated iron sheets to fall on cars parked on the side of the road. Meanwhile, at least 34 people died after a tourist boat capsized in Vietnam during a thunderstorm on Saturday, state media announced. 8 people are reportedly still missing. The boat, called the Wonder Sea, was carrying 48 passengers and 5 crew members, all Vietnamese nationals. They had been on a sightseeing excursion of Halong Bay, one of the country's most popular tourist destinations, when a sudden storm with strong winds turned the vessel upside down. According to the newspaper VN Express, a rescue team managed to save 11 people and recovered 27 bodies, 8 of them children, in the vicinity of the wreck. Initially, 12 survivors had been reported, but the figure was later corrected. The newspaper reported that most of the passengers, including 20 children, were tourists from the capital Hanoi. Among those rescued was a 14-year-old boy who was found alive after spending 4 hours trapped in the upside-down hull of the boat. The tragedy comes just as a new tropical storm, named Wipha, heads towards northern Vietnam. The storm marks the 3rd typhoon to hit the South China Sea this year, is expected to make landfall at the start of next week. Vietnam's Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh sent his condolences to the families of the deceased. Authorities will investigate and clarify the cause of the incident and strictly handle violations, a statement on the government's website said. Halong Bay is one of Vietnam's most popular tourist destinations, with millions of people visiting its blue-green waters and rainforest-topped limestone islands each year. Last year, 30 vessels sank at boat lock areas in coastal Quang Ninh province along Halong Bay after Typhoon Yagi brought strong winds and waves. Weather linked to Storm Wipha also knocked down several trees in Hanoi, 175 kilometers, 110 miles, away from Halong Bay, and disrupted air travel. Noi Bai Airport said 9 arriving flights were diverted to other airports, and 3 departing flights were temporarily grounded on Saturday. As Typhoon Wipha, storm number 3, strengthened over the East Sea, internationally known as the South China Sea, with unpredictable developments, the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment at noon on July 19th issued an urgent telegram directing ministries, agencies and people's committees in northern provinces and cities, as well as coastal areas from Quang Ninh to Dak Lak, to take immediate and comprehensive measures in response. The ministry confirmed that in the early hours of July 19th, Storm Wipha entered the East Sea with wind strength at level 9 and gusts at level 12. It is forecast to intensify further, bringing heavy rain, flooding, flash floods, and landslides to northern and north-central regions in the coming days. Coastal localities from Quang Ninh to Dak Lak are required to closely monitor storm updates, strictly control vessels heading offshore, and notify ship owners and captains of the storm's position, trajectory, and changes so they can avoid dangerous zones. The hazardous area over the next 24 hours is currently identified between 18 and 23 degrees north latitude and east of 114.5 degrees east longitude, subject to updates. Authorities are urged to consider bans on fishing, transport, and tourist vessels, and to move people from floating houses, aquaculture farms, and watch huts at sea or near the coast to safer locations. Rescue forces and equipment must be on standby. On land, northern and north-central localities are instructed to review and, if necessary, evacuate residents from unsafe houses, river mouths, and coastal zones at risk of deep flooding. Local authorities must ensure the safety of sea and river dikes, especially at weak points or sites under construction, and drain water proactively to protect agricultural areas, urban zones, and industrial parks. They are to secure signboards, homes, public works, industrial facilities, warehouses, and construction sites, while also protecting telecommunications networks and power grids. The ministry emphasized the need to harvest crops and aquaculture early where possible and to take precautionary steps under the principle, better safe than sorry. In mountainous regions, rapid response teams should inspect and clear blocked water flows, review riverside settlements and low-lying areas prone to flash floods or landslides, and relocate residents when necessary. Commune-level authorities must ensure every household in high-risk areas is informed, advising residents to monitor for unusual signs and be ready to evacuate. Traffic management teams are tasked with guarding and guiding people at fords, overflow bridges, and deeply flooded or landslide-prone zones. Where safety cannot be guaranteed, movement must be stopped, with resources and equipment ready to keep main transport routes clear. Localities must also review mines, reservoirs, and downstream areas, paying particular attention to small hydropower and irrigation dams, ensuring on-site staff are ready to regulate water levels and respond to emergencies. All ministries and sectors are requested to coordinate closely with local authorities, maintain strict duty rosters, and report regularly to the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment through the Department of Dike Management and Natural Disaster Prevention and Control for timely updates and further action.
cứ ngồi yên trong xe thôi.